Hello and welcome to Friday, my friends. I know, right? It's Friday. It's been a week. Yeah, we'll just go. It's been a week. We finished, or we're finishing up our first full week of Mercury in retrograde. Yay! We've done 1 week. Got a couple more weeks to go. It goes into direct on the 15th of May. So we have a couple more weeks of this. Know that on the 15th, it's not like a light switch where we're going to be like off and on. It's going to be a transition. We have to kind of clear that gunk. So bear that in mind as we get into the middle of May. Today, what I want to do is look at that transition to May. Like always, I enjoy giving you guys the tools, the support, and the kind of pre-warning as to what you can expect. So you're able to feel stronger, more able to take on those challenges. So let's transition into, well, actually, no, I want my calendar. So next week, it's kind of another really big week of lots of energies. So we're transitioning in a Monday into May, which brings in Beltane, which is the midpoint between this spring equinox and the summer solstice. So we're at a balancing point. It's also known as May Day. Fantastic day to embrace that balance and work on that balancing energy, or work with that balancing energy. Wednesday, we're going to be transitioning into that full flower moon energy. A couple of days before the full moon, we always have that kind of bonus time. We're going to need it, is all I can say. Friday, we have the full flower moon with a lunar eclipse. Okay. The solar eclipse was really hard for people last month, so this lunar eclipse should be interesting. I will be doing a reading on the full flower moon and all that we can expect. Know that this week's reading will encompass it a little bit, but not all of it. And then, of course, there's yet more. Saturday, now this is also dependent on where you are in the world. We have, and I'm going to say this wrong, and I apologize to anybody who can speak Latin. My bad. The Eta Aquarids meteor shower. It's a fairly significant meteor shower. Again, really beautiful to look at, but can be energetically pushy-pulley with people. So depending on how sensitive you are and depending on your week, it can also impact on that. And for all my geeks and nerds, of course, I will not forget, May the 4th be with you. Which is my transition into my decks. Let's get into the right screen here. We do have an action-packed week, of course, but we can't forget the fun. We can't forget those pieces. So this deck I supported on Kickstarter back in 2018. I did not know how they were getting around the copyright. I went to find it. I can't find it anywhere. This is called the sorry, I'm saying this wrong. The Solaris Tarot. That's the box it came in. I did an unboxing back in 2018. The reason why I was questioning it at the time, and because I'm such, a geek, is because it's Star Wars. I'm like, how does Disney, how are they okay with this? Now, it is kind of a fanfic, so I'm not entirely sure. But either way, that's the deck I'm using. I do not know if you can get this deck anymore. It's beautiful. I love, I like the Major Arcana and the Royals. The pips, as you can see, not the grandest cards. How does my dog get on this? Like, he sheds and it's like an explosion of glitter. Okay. And then because we need it so darn bad, I have the Sacred Earth Oracle, kind of giving us a bit of grounding. Sorry, Kathy, I didn't see you join me. Good morning and welcome. I'm just going to complete a group reading for the week ahead, and then I'll be opening the floor up for readings if you're interested. So let's get into this. Like I said, it's a heck of a week. Good morning, Midnight. Nope, still morning here. So hopefully it should still be morning for you too. I'm going to finish up I'm going to start and finish the weekly reading. for the as a whole group. So let's look at the week of April 30th through the 6th. So the like I said, there's going to be a lot going on this week. We're going to have to be using our tools. There's going to be a lot of energy push and pull, but knowing that ahead of time. And I always do my weekly readings on Friday because, well, I don't want you to be in the midst of it scrambling. I'd rather you have a couple of days to be prepared. The first card, the Seven of Cups, really talks about what I said, is that there's going to be a lot of opportunity, but you're going to have to work for it. It's not going to be, and here you go, this is easy. It is going to be a lot of stuff because we do have so many different energies pulling you in different directions. The Three of Cups, reversed. This talks about the community, the support, that celebration. Many of us are already feeling people are not the funnest. So we're kind of avoiding, which is not a good thing. Avoiding it is not good. We need to be using our strengths and our tools to be overcoming some of this stuff. Good morning, Kelsey. Oh, Stacy, sorry, it said Kelsey. I just saw the Kelsey. All good, Stace? All good. All good. So the Three of Cups. Please don't avoid. I know we want to, and sometimes it is just shaking our head and going, oh, Mercury retrograde. This is the Chariot reversed. There are many, many opportunities. We can slow this down and cause ourselves more challenge, especially when we have things like the solar or the lunar eclipse. Eclipses are like the universe having a bit of a tantrum and slamming doors. We've got like these mini tower experiences because the energies are very sharp. Again, the same can happen depending on how the like a meteor shower impacts you and where you are in the world. Some places have a better front row seat. They have more energetical like shower, if you will, than others. But no, it is a possibility. I knew when I was picking my deck, I knew this week, I already knew I must bring out my Star Wars deck. This is the only time I really bring it out because I'm not thrilled with these cards. And then when I was like, okay, what should I pair it with? And it was just like, and no brainer. We need the stability. Grounding ourselves will help. These cups talk about the energy, the emotion, the intuition. Let's be honest. It's not the intuition that's going to be overwhelming. It's the emotion. That emotional, well, tidal wave, if you will. All right, let's move this deck and get some room on the little space. Lots of cards. Okay. Let's see what will support my friends to embracing and moving that chariot. Getting the most out of this week. Oops, knocking the chariot there. Know that it's nothing that we can't handle though, guys. There's going to be a lot of fear, and it feels more like we're just putting putting more barriers up to what could possibly, like the opportunities, the possibilities, because we're just like, it's just too much. I'm tapping out. And we can't tap out. We just have to kind of dump and embrace. That's upside down. Fragments. And I think it came in upside down because there is so many pieces. It talks about the fragments that we're dealing with the fear around the Seven of Cups. It talks about the emotional baggage that we're already feeling, that heaviness from all that we're already dealing with. Then on top of it, we've got energy push and pull. We need stability to take hold of some of these pieces and start to connect the dots. I would do a lot of reflection intentional reflection, and don't try and overboard it. Give yourself like 5 minutes. See what information you can get, because we do have very intuitive cards here. We have a lot of opportunities this week. So take a few minutes, even if it's, no, and depending on who you are and how you function. Some people it's at the end of the day, some people it's at the beginning of the day, where you feel the most calm, the most able to tap in and just do some automatic writing. Just get the fragment pieces down. It's needed now and in the future. This one's upside down as well. Formulation. Be aware that the plans that you intend, those really important plans, may not come out as you had thought. And that's okay. Sometimes how we want to direct things isn't how it needs to be. Letting go of those preconceived is going to be really important, because the plan will come out. It's just we don't see the full picture yet, and we won't. Like, it's not like it's going to be like, oh, I'll know in 5 minutes. No, hindsight's 20/20. We're too low to get high enough to see that big picture. So no, that things might not go as you had intended. Stabilize and ground. We need that with these cards. Balance self. The Chariot usually has a white and a black Sphinx sitting in front of him. That balance, because he's a very balanced and control card. He's not in control here. We're not balanced. We're not grounded. We need to look at what's going on and then use our tools to bring in the grounded, the stability, the fire and passion. These guys don't have passion. He's got willpower and drive up the woohoo, but we don't have that fulfillment. And that disconnection is very seen here. So we want to make sure that we look at what we have and what we don't have, because that don't have can be even more powerful than what we do have. All right, let's get into this a little bit more. What will support my friends in really embracing this week? Giving them the tools that they need to go forward. Okay. I do enjoy this deck. It's sad that I when I tried to find a link to it, I couldn't. So pretty sure Disney did come down on them. The 9 of Cups. Again, another cup, guys. We're not acknowledging what's going right. We're too caught up. We'd rather be in reversal and afraid than actually taking that deep breath and acknowledging. Because this isn't the easy stuff to see. This is the stuff that is harder to see. The emotional, the intuitional, that non, if you will, tangible. We can't see it with our eyes. We actually have to think about it. We need to use that third eye thinking center, use our intuition, use that higher sense, if you will. So we're not acknowledging all that is going right, because if we were, we would start to be able to turn some of this stuff. We wouldn't be so set in our ways. The Moon in reversal. Oh, I knew this was going to be one of those things where we're going to be really challenged because of all that's being thrown at us. So the Moon, it is physically talking about the full moon. So that be aware that that is going to be impacting you. And we'll look at the messages more of the full flower moon next week. But know that that's going to be there and impacting you. So take that deep breath. Again, we have days ahead. I always do my reading for the full moon is going to be Wednesday. So we have some time to play with that energy. And that's the piece, guys. we want to play with the energy a bit. This is a lot of heavy emotion. We're not getting into the play. We've got that kind of fear, that uncertainty that comes with the Seven of Cups, and it's upright. So that fear is very much, hello, in your face. We have the moon that has its own fear, its own uncertainty. It is in reversal. We acknowledge that fear. We know it. We're like, yeah. Don't let that add to the moon, or to the Chariot, that stagnation, that stuck. Taking that time for a little bit of fun and play, because this week is going to be heavy. Additionally, if we can get into, with that fun, some creativity, we do have a lot of cups here. We also have the moon. Very intuitive energies within this reading so far. Turn over the other cards. It is in the upright, the Lovers. That balance is going to be very important. The Chariot has the white and black Sphinx. The moon has the wolf and the dog. Very much talking about balance. The Lovers, of course, the masculine and the feminine. So making sure that we're balanced within ourselves, bringing in a balanced calm around us. But also don't forget those important loved ones. They're going to be impacted by this as well, whether they can identify it or not. We need to be taking that into mind and taking that deep breath, because again, they're going to be impacted by it. Supporting them by creating that stability and calm within ourselves. High Priestess, reversed. A lot of reversals, a lot of resistance, a lot of fear. We're feeling the weight. We don't feel intuitive. We feel like we're like just kind of getting by. We just exist right now. And it's in that just existence that we are missing major points. We have, out of 7 cards, 4 major arcana. And interestingly enough, they build a triangle here. In tarot, it's not just about the cards, it's also about that placement. We need that stability. Right away, it triggers the hierarchy of needs. We need that physical, the emotional, then the spiritual. So we need that physical stability. We need that emotional control to start to look at that intuitional piece. And that's why I think the intuitional cards primarily are upside down. The High Priestess, the Moon, the 2 out of the 3 cups. We need to start to build that triangle up so we can start to get into some of the aha, because there are many, many opportunities, many possibilities for movement if we get out of our way, if we decide that that's what we want to do. Then again, it's got to be that choice. We're going to have to plan it in and know there is going to be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknowns coming in, especially as we have a lot of energies that we can't predict. And sometimes it is about letting those energies do what they need to do, start to pick up the pieces and use our creativity to recreate a plan, recreate that outcome that we may not have thought that that's what we needed. So do take the time, make sure you are grounded, work on that stability, work on some reflection, and when in doubt, start to look into that creativity. High Priestess always connects in to not only the Divine Feminine, so the full moon will be connected in here. She usually has a crescent moon at her feet. She is one of the most intuitive cards in the deck. She holds the Scroll of Torah, which is the Scroll of Wisdom. We're looking at that intuition, that knowledge. She too is a gatekeeper. She's got the pillars that are black and white, so again, the balance, right? And behind her there's a piece of cloth with pomegranates, which talks about fertility. And then behind that is water and this very fertile land. Well, we have a lot of opportunity to step forward. The Lovers, again, it's a pillar card. It's got those two trees with the two naked people. The Moon is a pillar card. It's got the towers with the two dogs, or the dog and the wolf. So we do have that opportunity to really change the chapter if, big if, we put the work into it. So that is my group reading for the first week, well, the step into May, basically, because it's not a full week of May, because, well, May starts on the 1st. And guys, May Day or Beltane will be a fantastic opportunity to support you with that balance, because it is a balancing point, with a natural balancing point in between spring equinox and the summer solstice. So fantastic day to try and do some balancing stuff for us. And remember, a little goes a long way with that. Okay, so my friends who joined me while I was doing my group reading, I will open up the floor to people, and who Kathy was the first person to acknowledge and say hi, then Midnight, and then Stacy. So that'll be the order that if you guys want readings, I will go in. Unlike Twitch, I don't have like I join where it will naturally give me a list. So the decks I do have the Solaris. If you're not into Star Wars, don't worry, I got you, because not everybody's a Star Wars fan. I just remember going to the drive-in movie theaters with my parents to see them. So I've got that one. And then I have, this is the Wizard's Tarot. Here, I'll turn them over. So if you guys have questions, you can let me know what question you have, and then what deck. That's kind of an ominous card. That's better. And then, oh, I also have one more. I'm getting yes. Okay, so Kathy, just let me know what deck you want and what your question is. Then I have the Spiral Tarot. They are all based on the Rider-Waite deck, so it does not matter what deck you choose. It's more what pictures speak to you. And my microphone is right in the way for my chat. So how's everybody doing with Mercury in retrograde? It's it's been quite the first week, I know. Even before I started this morning, my computer crashed. I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. Last Friday, the program I used for doing my readings, it just kept stopping. I was like, this is not good. Really not good. So I'm glad to say that so far, after restarting my computer, things have gone, knock on wood, well. Kathy, are you still there? I can understand the really tired piece. To help with the kind of tired would be to maybe protect against some of the energy pieces. If people don't have selenite above their window and possibly the door frame, you could find that the energies are coming in during sleep. Asking high vibrational beings to help, to really help you get that restful sleep. And if you're sleeping for 8-ish hours and you're not waking up rested and rejuvenated, you may be astroplaning while you sleep. So grabbing something like a red or black crystal and having it like underneath your pillow to help ground you and keep you in your space and in your body while you sleep is really helpful. Oh, sorry, Kathy. Loaded question. You finished my job of 10 years. You need a new direction. The middle deck. Okay. I love the Wizard's Tarot, and it's great to ask some very poignant questions because it is a very direct deck. So let's look at that job piece for you. So right away, Kathy, what I would suggest maybe is looking at dumping some of the baggage that you're carrying from the job that you finished after 10 years. Even jobs that you didn't have like trauma or bad experiences at, there can be that ending completion, so you could have some emotion around that change, fear around change. So right away, I would suggest doing some energetical dumping of that transition piece so that you're not, okay, calm down, deck, calm down, causing more challenge for you in this transition. All right. The first card, the World. No matter how you feel about this change, it's a positive one for you, because we're starting off with the Dancer. This is an ending. It's kind of that kind of pause card. So it's about something ending, something new starting, but you need, and I as I was shuffling, I said, you need to do that like release. That's exactly what this card talks about, is taking that pause, celebrating what you've accomplished, and getting ready for that new aspect. I love it when I start talking about stuff and the cards are like, yeah, well, she knows. There you go. There's your picture. There's your picture for what I was saying while I was shuffling. The Ace of Cups. So far, like, this is really very positive. And the Ace and the World were the two that really wanted out quite demandingly. The Seven of Swords. The Four of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords. Okay, so the Eight of Swords, the World, and the Seven of Swords kind of talk about that same thing that I was saying while I was shuffling. We need to release the fluffy, puffy, yeah, I'm going to try and be something I'm not to get a job that may not be what I exactly want, but I want that job. Eight of Swords talks about the emotion, the sadness, the depression. And even if you left your job for positive reasons, there is still that sadness, the what ifs. We need to get rid of that or release it, acknowledge it, so that you can move forward. We know the moving forward is going to be positive. You need to be truthful for you on what you can do physically, emotionally, and spiritually that's going to allow for growth. Okay? We do have the Four of Pentacles. 4 is a very stable number. It's kind of ominous on how they drew it in this card. 4s are about security. Okay? Part of the Four of Cups, or the Four of Pentacles, is being too closed down, because the original card that Pamela Coleman Smith drew, there was a fellow sitting on and I don't know why, but they sat on a lot of concrete in the deck. I don't understand. So it's this bench, and he's got pentacles underneath each foot, a pentacle at his stomach, and he's holding it, and then there's a pentacle over his crown. And it does talk about shutting down and closing self off, which we do want to be mindful of, especially with the Eight of Swords. However, it does talk about two things, foundation and growth, because it is a 4. 4 in tarot is all about that structure, that foundation. It's a stable number. Pentacles in itself, in its nature, talks about growth. So no, you have a lot of opportunity. You don't want to go out and be flamboyant, but you do need to be mindful of shutting self down too much to miss out on these opportunities. So it's a lot of like a balance here. You want to do that reflection. You need to be honest from where you're starting from, what you can accomplish, especially right at your present time, and then being open to those opportunities, because it's not going to come in on the way that you may think it will. It's going to come in on different aspects, and that's why it's the Holy Grail. It's the Ace of Cups. Lots of new beginnings, but you need to be aware of them. You need to be okay with something different, kind of stretching. That's why it's important that we know where you're going to be starting from, what you're going to be needing to deal with, to clear, before you can really embrace that. Because it will be interesting and fun. It's just, again, it may not be something that you'd be like, oh, yeah, that would be great. It's going to be something that you're going to have to go think about and really be present of mind for. So that reflection is going to be totally key. Do you have any other questions, Kathy? I'm going to pull some oracle here. It's funny, I always start out with, I'll do a 3-card spread. People who are like, yeah, I just do 3 cards. I'm like, how? I get jumpers. People are hucking cards left, right, and center. It's a good starting point, but whatever. Comes forward, comes forward. Influence. And it was reversed. You're going to get pressures from other people just to do something that may not be right for you. Be mindful of that. Check into what they're saying, because again, like I said, these opportunities may come in and present themselves in stuff that you may not necessarily like, oh, that is exactly what I want, or oh, that's how I've pictured it. Know that a lot of times what we quote unquote picture isn't what we need, because it's something that is housed in expectations and demands that haven't been shifted with current perception and understanding, or energetical and spiritual growth. So a lot of times you have to look at what that influence is and take a very solid look. Like, you've got swords here. So take that thinking moment. Use our critical thinking skills. Just make sure that you're not being critical of self, because that is here as well. Critical thinking means we ask the hard questions. We don't beat ourselves up. Ready, but waiting. Really, connects into the Ace of Cups in the world. It's there. And it's waiting for you. You just need to grab hold of it. So does that help you, Kathy? Do you have any other questions? Let's see here. Midnight, I'll give you the option if you want a reading or if you're good. You were the second person to say hi, and then I'll open it up to Stacy. And Stacy, if you want to let me know what question you have, I can definitely look at that. So, no, it's there. I know that especially if you've got a job that you've been in for years, it can be hard to change. And it's really easy to be really critical of self. Don't. If you start to get to that negativity, that's when you need to take that pause. Possibly, if you're really struggling, go to a sink of water and run your hands underwater. That water will help you. You bet. You can definitely take one. I will give you one freely, my friend. Let me know which deck. I'll bring them back out, and what question you have. My choice of deck, what's coming towards me, and what you can look forward to in this next week. Awesome. And I'm gonna pop. I think we'll go with the Spiral Tarot. All right. Let's look at the week ahead for Midnight. I would Midnight, check when and if your area is going to get the like if you're going to be able to see the Meteor shower. Meteor showers, I just picked like the middle day and talk about it on that day. I'm seeing the meteor shower right now. So whether or not that energy is going to impact you, but the actual physical event itself may be intriguing for you. You may get some aha, and because it's a very unique energy. Similar to that of a rainstorm, it can be a very kind of almost transcending energy. The Knight of Cups. And he's got the masculine symbol hidden here, which is, I think that balance is going to be needed this week for you, because we do have that high contrast of feminine. The meteor shower, there's one that's coming in this weekend that they happen all the time. Yeah, April 19th to the 28th is when it says it's happening. So, oh, where am I here? This is what it's called. Yeah. Did I message you on Discord on this? I can't remember. I don't. But anyway, the meteor shower, while I was shuffling, it came in. I don't get it. It's going to be a negative thing or a hard thing. It's going to be more of a positive, kind of just almost invigorating thing. And for my friends in chat, if you're looking for, I have a Discord for my, what do you call it? My Twitch page. That's what you call it. So you're very welcome to join. I'm on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays. I like to do tarot. Sometimes, like yesterday, I did art as well. I do all sorts of stuff. It's just not tarot. That's why it's not under Mystic Star. It's under Geeking Goddess, because I do gaming. I do arts and crafts. I do all sorts of different stuff. All right, on to the next one. Four of Cups. And it's in reversal. Again, it talks about that humdrum, right? It's not that it's frustrating. It's just like, oh, it's exhausting. We're easy to miss. And we've got, again, we're getting a high cup count here. Justice in upright. Justice, again, high balance card. The truth, the right, the wrong. Yes, thank you, Midnight. It is under Geeking Goddess 8, but the Discord, you will go there and it lets me know, or lets you know when I'm live. So, very black and white card. It is a transcending card. It's got the pillars, so it is that rite of passage. Truth, sort of truth and knowledge, and then that balance. And probably one of the most gorgeous cards in the deck, Temperance. And again, I'm caught in by the Tree of Life sitting there. It's not in every deck or card, and I know that you and I talked about the Tree of Life recently. It's not in every card. Oh, it's in that card as well. I can guarantee you it's not in every high major arcana. It just seems like that. Ha! I turned over the deck. The High Priestess. It's not in there. So, again, those hidden messages. This was the second deck I got back in the 90s, and it derailed my reading because it has so many layers of symbols. So let's get back into this. This week for you, balance is going to be key. And it's not just like, oh, I'm going to balance my day. Sure, that will help, but it's that energetical flow entirely. So you may want to start looking at your chakra systems. So working with that, you can work with crystals, meditation, just even acknowledging them, connecting in with them. That energy is important. The one thing with temperance is that it's not just up and down flow. this water is not going from the top cup to the bottom. It's actually the reversed. It's from the bottom to the top. So it's more than just the normal balance that you would see in yourself. So taking a little bit of time for you to acknowledge where that balance is going to be, because the balance will support you in moving forward in a very kind of you way, because it talks, the Knight of Cups talks about it, doing it in your own way, going at a slower pace, but more importantly, enjoying that pace. The more balanced we are, of course, the more you're going to get that aha. Do be mindful, though, this week that you are not too self-righteous and that we're not seeing things too black and white. Part of the balance will be kind of seeing the compassion. You may be in the right, but will that matter? Sometimes we are right, but if you like poke the bear some more, because we're right, but it's just going to cause more problems. So having that understanding of where you're at, and also more importantly, where are they at? Because a lot of people won't understand where they're at and won't be able to enunciate or articulate it, but will be reactive. So do be careful of that, because it's something that will easily come up. Again, I'm noticing the rainbow. Touching back with Archangel Raziel that we talked about earlier this week. So, you know, like lots of this similar messages in a different way. But know that there's a lot that's coming forward. We've got the rite of passage here, and we've got some movement cards in the Knight of Cups, the aha in Temperance, and that Holy Grail. It's just going to be up to you to take that time, giving you that energy, balancing it out so that you feel stronger physically, emotionally, and spiritually, to start to embrace some of these things. They're there, they've been there. It's just where you're just not able to see them. You just don't have that physical, groundedness. We have no pentacles here, but also that energy flow, right? We're feeling exhausted. So it's about taking care of you. Does that help? And I think that like I said, that meteor shower, it feels like a very spiritually uplifting, if that makes any sense. And you get one card, because that's when I come out. It's in reversal. Some resistance. Revolution. I like the fact that it's got the moon cycle down here. That's the one thing about the Sacred Earth Oracle. It too has a lot of different symbols in it. And then the full moon behind her head here. That lunar energy is going to help with some of the shifting. But again, it's going to be you giving you time, big piece, permission, and energy to do it. Because this week does offer you that opportunity for that, next stage, let's do this. Is it going to be on the physical? Not as much as in the spiritual, emotional front. Just to balance things out just a smidge. Thank you for letting me read for you. Do you have any questions? Stacy, if you're still around, you're up next. You can let me know what question you have, and if anybody else in chat wants a reading, you can write in chat. Right now, Stacy was the last person to write in chat, so that's how I'm getting the order. Oh, the middle deck. Let I'll show you the decks and you can let me know, because I don't remember what the middle deck was. I think it might have been the, I think it was this deck. I think it was the Wizard's Tarot. I think that's how I had it. I can't remember. I'd have to go back, and I don't know how to do that while I'm live. Okay, so we can just do kind of a general reading to see what your supports want to say, Stacy. Okay. Why don't we look at looking at how to get more connected and more focused, I guess, if that makes sense. Oh, I appreciate you too, Midnight. Balance, yes, yes. You're right, Midnight. Balance is incredibly important, but also having compassion for you and others. It's the others piece is going to be really, I think, a challenge, especially right now with Mercury in its heyday, plus with all the other push and pull of the week. Yeah, people are going to be crazy. Okay. Wizard's Tarot for Stacy, who's pretending to be her daughter. Got it. Mm-hmm. So let's do this. Let's look at that connection and kind of getting Stacy back up and going again. All right, let's do this. The Queen of Wands. Oh yeah, no, she be all that and a bag of chips. I love how she was drawn in the original deck. She just, when you take a second to acknowledge that the deck was created in like 1908 was when it was drawn. The way she's sitting, the way she's owning things, she is going against norms, and I love it. I think it's amazing. 7 of Swords. That talks about trying to get away with stuff, and it's not, I don't feel like it's other people trying to get stuff away. I think it's you becoming more aware of you and how your self, and we all do this to like survive like adolescence, is we get that false armor. It really feels like we're becoming more and more aware of it, and it can be very overwhelming. Death. The 13th card in the Major Arcana, and it talks about release. It does not talk about death. It's just a transcendent card. And the Hierophant. I won't lie, the hat kind of looks like a cake because it's pink. I don't know. Kind of just looks like a cake. Maybe it's because I'm hungry. I don't know. So, right away, it looks like there's a lot of really powerful cards. Some resistance to it. And I don't know if it's resistance where you're like, I don't want to do it. It's more like, I don't know where to start, is where it's feeling, rather than I'm going to put my feet in the sand and just be obstinate. It just feels like you're, like you said, you feel a little lost. And the cards are acknowledging that. I think it's more about looking at what is it that you want from you. Because when we start to look at that ideal us and our authentic us, how much do they mesh? Or is it that we need to look at those ideals and what we know and perceive of self and start to bring that into alignment? Because that's where we need to start the release, which will help us really bring in who it is we want to be and who our authentic self is. Those two need to align. There's a discombobulation, an incongruency there. Once you've done that reflection, You can start to see what you need to release. And even if you don't have words for it, you're like, okay, this is what I know of me. This is what my authentic self should look like. We know our authentic self because we feel empowered when we're our authentic us. We feel good. Things go right. The problem being is that a lot of times our authentic self is not how others perceive us. It's not how we were raised. Because, like I said, to survive, we created that fluffiness, that external, this is how I have to be. Do you want to bring it all out in once? No, slow and steady. But understanding what does bring that passion, that inner fire, that flame. You feel, well, you feel good. You feel like you're, the queen of your world. What's more is that passion, that creativity, that sense of self is contagious. It builds people up. That's how we know that we're on the right track. Once you understand that, and I would literally do it old school, right? Start to write it down. Use your spiritual binder and start to write down. What do I know about my authentic self? What do I know about that armor that I've created? What's the difference? Then you can start to get into what you've been taught, or what it is you need to learn more about. The Hierophant, yes, can be, in his wonderful cake hat, a teacher or teachers. I never want people to have just one teacher in the world. They should have multiple teachers in multiple disciplines. They may have similar disciplines, different approaches, because how one person does it is their interpretation of it. Your interpretation may be similar, but not quite that. We all have our little nuances. So no, you will have multiple teachers, multiple ways of learning. And you can take the bits and pieces that you like and create what's going to be important for you, helping to strengthen you. Hierophant also talks about those opportunities. Keeper of keys. This card does not have it, but at the bottom of the original card, at the stairs, there's two keys. They cross over each other. There's two bald people or balding people, and then the Hierophant, the Pope guy, who stands there in all his glory. This too, and for some reason today is very much about the pillared, and there's not a lot of them, but the what do you call it? Major Arcana. There we go. Wow, words are hard. The Major Arcana with the pillars on them. He's one of them, and we haven't seen him in the other readings. The Hierophant with his Benedict fingers and his stoic self is in between two pillars. Rite of passage. The more you start to embrace pieces that are going to fuel you and bring you back to that authentic self. Because when we were kids, we were authentic because we were authentically us. We were taught how not to be us. Now it's about, okay, I have to unteach myself, releasing some of that stuff to be that authentic you. Does that help, Stace? I almost called you Kelsey. How is your daughter doing, by the way? Oh. Then we have center. That grounded stability is going to help, especially given the energies that are pushing and pulling us. And if we're feeling kind of just off and stuck, we're really impacted by energies. Other people's energies, our energies, the astrological energies. Take that breath. Ground, center, and balance self. especially before you do the reflection. Because if you're feeling really spinny and our brain is going out of control, that reflection is going to be hard and you're going to beat yourself up because you don't feel like you're able to do it. Can't even accomplish this. Wah! Expectations. I love this card. It, again, very multifaceted, but this moth butterfly here really takes center stage. Not to mention the prairies, because we all have that love for the prairies. Good. And I know your daughter has been an important part of this journey, and some of that kind of heaviness that we're dealing with. Expectations. Like I said earlier, and this really reaffirms what I was talking about earlier, those expectations of self, that incongruency of your authentic self versus where we're really functioning from. We want to bring it a little bit more in alignment. Are you going to be able to integrate both of them? No, because if we go too far, too fast, it becomes we become afraid because we're not used to that. And the judgment and beliefs of other people impact us. When we slowly go into that alignment, we can make those slow shifts. And people don't start to question and talk back and make us feel weird and uncertain. We feel strong in that shift. So know that your expectations, A, you need to be compassionate to self because this will take some time. And B, other people's expectations of you will need to shift as well, because they'll expect the old you and they'll want the old you, because the old you will fill needs that you don't, that A, you shouldn't be doing, and B, makes them be more accountable, and people don't like to be accountable. So take it slow. Just know that, yeah, this feeling will go, especially when you have that knowledge base. Doing little things each day, each week. The little makes a big difference in the long run. Okay, does anybody else in chat want a reading? Stacy, do you have any other questions? Oop. One knee is frozen. I'm going to have to go to the next knee later. And for my friends in chat, next Saturday I will be in a market in Lethbridge. And if you know where that is, it's a small little community in southern Alberta. It's small. Well, it's actually one of the bigger communities in Alberta, but I will be there on Saturday at Free Your Soul Market. So if people want to meet up with me, they can email me or connect in with me, and I can get them a time. You are very welcome. I'll give chat a few minutes here to see who's around. Next week I will be live Wednesday. I'm going to be doing the flower moon, the new flower moon, or the full flower moon, not the new flower. The full flower moon reading about the same time, and then I'll be opening up the floor for readings for my friends. And then Friday I'll be doing rinse and repeat of this. Tuesday and Thursday I think I'll be live on Twitch doing tarot for a bit. So yeah, I'm kind of expanding out. This year I'm going to be, I know I have one surgery scheduled for May. I don't know about the other. I have very, very bad knees. Oh, story of my life. My knees, my feet, and my ankles have always been bad. So that is part of my journey. But I will be needing some TLC on those. So I'm going to be doing more of this than live sessions at markets. So that is how I'm rolling with it. Alrighty. Well, I don't have anybody else on chat asking for questions. So for those who are around next week, I will be live here, like I said, Wednesday and Friday. Thursday and Tuesday I should be on Twitch. And we'll see. I will be posting my healing on Tuesday as well. And it's a really cool one. It's with your guardian angel, so stay tuned for that one. It was awesome to do. And it's going to be there to help through the week ahead and its ongoing glory. But just remember 2 things. 1, remember to breathe, because when we breathe, we can use our thinking center. 2, remember to ground yourself, because during a time of energetical instability, the best thing we can do is ground ourselves and breathe, so we are thinking rather than reacting. Take care of your guys, or take care of yourselves. Words are so hard. Take care of yourselves and know that you've got the supports. You've got this. And I will see you soon. Until tomorrow, my friends.